Here is Kevin Kennedy and Rich Herrera with an Inside the Dugout quick fix.
Let's talk about Marlon Byrd. You brought that up. Marlon Byrd,
Yeah.
two times he's been suspended now for 162 games. Let me give you some numbers here, if you don't mind. And
Sure.
I'm stealing this from Buster Only from his insider piece. Byrd tested positive for the first time for PEDs in 2012, sacrificing 50 games and less than $2 million of his $6.5 million salary. He comes back in 2013, makes $700,000, resurrecting his career. Then he made $8 million in 14, $8 million in 15. About half the $38 million he has earned in his career is garnered after the first time he was busted. So we talk about all that all the time, that, listen, there's a lot of money to be made out there. That's why guys will try to cheat the system and use. But Buster also pointed something out, and I thought this was rather interesting. This year, as Marlon Byrd has played, he came up with a couple of scenarios, a couple things that happened where Byrd is taking money out of someone else's pocket. So he goes to April 14th. Byrd smashes a 2-run homer off of Chris Archer in the 6th inning, turning a 1-0 lead into a Cleveland Indians 3-2 advantage, costing Chris Archer a victory. On April 19th, Wade Miley took the mound for the Mariners, and I'm reading from Buster's piece here. In the 4th inning, down 1-0, Miley got the first out of the inning, striking out Yan Gomes, then Byrd singles. Then with Miley working from the stretch, he lost home plate, walking the next 3 hitters, forcing in a run. Indians would push the lead to 3-0. That inning, completing their day, they won 3-2. There's another one where he's directly involved in taking a win away from somebody. 3 days later, the Indians faced Justin Verlander, who had been digging his way out of a slow start through 6 innings, had a strong outing, but in the 7th, that's right, Byrd slugged a tie-breaking homer to beat the former Cy Young Award winner. May 13th, after Byrd knew he had tested positive, he and the Indians faced the Minnesota Twins, who were in the midst of a 7-game losing streak, but finally had a lead late in the ball game. In the 8th inning, Byrd slammed a 2-run bomb, doubling off of Trevor May, and the Twins lose yet again. And then this is the one that I really wanted to talk to you about, Skip. Okay. On May 16th, Byrd and the Indians faced the Reds. The 38-year-old Byrd faced right-handed pitcher Lane Sampson. It's Sampson's second appearance in the majors. He hit a home run, and Sampson was sent back to the minors with an ERA close to 20 after he gives up that home run after Byrd had already tested positive, but he was still playing pending the suspension by Major League Baseball. What do you think when you hear all that?
I think it's a sad state of affairs. I don't think drug testing is working well enough. I know we've talked about this before, and MLB will say, well, it's working because we're catching these guys. That's true, but I think the penalties have to be stiffer. I really do. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. A lot of these guys are taking chances. Guys at the end of their careers are taking chances because they've already made a lot of money and they still want to play in Major League Baseball. Guys that are AAA type guys or journeyman type guys that were 250 hitters for 6 or 7 years, and all of a sudden they turn out to be guys that hitting 320 with 20 home runs, and they say, well, my mechanics are better now, or I've been working out differently, or whatever. I mean, come on. I'm with Jim Bunning on that one, the great Hall of Famer, and who talked about that in the hearings back in 2005 when he said, you don't get better as a major league player when you get into your 30s and get older. You just don't get better. And I can attest from that as I got older as a catcher. To this day, my legs every morning, I mean, it takes me several minutes because your legs go first as an athlete, whether you be a football player, a basketball player, a catcher, a baseball player. And without your lower half of your body, your legs, it's tough to do anything in sports, tennis players, etc. And when I see guys like him that are still doing all the damage that you just said, it actually is disappointing to me because you are taking other people's jobs. You're sending guys down that should still be in the big leagues maybe. And I got to tell you this, I saw a lot of him last year when he was traded to San Francisco. And I didn't think a whole lot. There was one pitch he could hit if it was in his zone, but he was a first ball hitter. If you threw a breaking ball, just not even a good one. I mean, he was a swing and a miss guy. I thought he was an out. And he was hitting around and behind Buster Posey. And I just thought, why would you pitch to Posey? This guy's an out. I know he hit 23 home runs last year combined, but I thought last year when I saw him the last 2 months of the season, I thought he was done. And when I saw him get a job this spring, I was shocked. that the Indians liked what they saw. Well, now we know why he was able to perform. He's probably better this year than at any point last year, and the numbers last year, like I said, he'd still hit 20 some odd home runs. But when I saw him the last 2 months and Dodgers played the Giants a lot, I think his career is over. And maybe he did too. And maybe that's why he did what he did.
Inside the Dugout with Kevin Kennedy and Rich Herrera can be found on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and RadioInfluence.com.